In this video, we're going to show you how to get from this
that big energy. They pay me like this 10 of me. The envious turn enemy.
to this.
This that big energy. They pay me like this 10 of me. The envious turn enemy.
As a singer or rapper or maybe engineer, it could be very challenging to reach your desired results. So in this video, we're going to show you all the steps you need to know about how to record vocals and how to properly mix them. We've already created a video about this topic. The link will be in the description if you also want to watch it, but maybe this one applies better to your needs. So I'm going to create this video together with a friend of mine who is Bobby G. We've known each other for a long time and we just wanted to give you guys an update because Bobby G is also improving his workflow and especially the new functions within FL Studio 21. We just wanted to give you an updated method. So this video is separated into 7 steps. So the first step is preparing for your recording. Step 2 is selecting the right microphone. Step 3, which is also really important, is positioning the microphone. Step 4 is recording the vocals and step 5 is mixing the vocals. And after we've mixed the vocals, we're going to show you how to add some effects in step 6. And in step 7, we're going to show you how to balance the mix and master a full song. So we're basically going to guide you through every step, starting from 0 to making a full song. So let's get started with the video. The first step is preparing for your recording. So before we start recording, make sure your room is free of any distractions or background noises. You don't want these in your recording. So make sure to find a quiet room, close the windows to minimize the external sounds. And you also want to turn off any electrical devices which could lead to unwanted noise in your signal. So this could be a power adapter for your monitor which is causing an electromagnetic field and this will totally ruin your recordings. So make sure to get rid of any of these things. So for example, if you're not producing the beat yourself, make sure you pick the right beat. So this means picking a beat which is well mixed and well mastered. This will make it way easier to achieve a better result. So it basically means if the beat already sounds good, your song in the end will sound way much better. Step 2, selecting the right microphone. The right microphone can make all the difference when it comes to recording your vocals. Condenser microphones are a popular choice when it comes to recording vocals as they capture a wide range of frequencies. Dynamic microphones are also commonly used and are best suitable for recording loud vocals. So make sure to pick a microphone which fits your needs. So if you're a rapper or a singer, I would highly recommend picking the Shure SMB7. But this could be a major investment for some of you guys. But if you're looking for a cheaper microphone, I would highly recommend the Rode NT1A, which comes around 150 bucks. And I think this is overall one of the best and cheapest microphones you can get at the moment. So right now, Bob is going to show you how to position the mic, how to record and mix the vocals, add some effects and balance the vocals. So I hope you enjoy it.
What's up guys, I'm Bobby G. I'm an artist, producer, engineer, and I design cover artwork. Shout out to Seven for bringing me back on. First things first, positioning your microphone. Don't put your mic in the corner of the room. Don't back up into the corner of the room. If possible, put your mic in the center of the room. This will give you the best results on your recording. If you get closer to the mic, this will pick up more low frequencies. And if you get further away from the mic, it'll pick up more high frequencies. You want to stay about 6 inches away from the microphone. That's about 2 fists length. So a good way to stay at the same distance while you're recording and not move back and forth is to put the pop filter, the circle thingy with the net in it. We don't have one right here, but if you put your pop filter around 6 inches from your mic, this will be the perfect measuring tool for you. So your singer can get closer and you can tell the singer to get close to the pop filter. Me personally, I like to record sitting down, but a lot of singers, they'll record standing up because that's the easiest way to access the techniques they're used to, straight posture, singing from the belly, all that stuff. All right, so the first thing we want to do is get the beat or backing track in the project. You're just going to drag and drop it. And we want to have the BPM set to the BPM of the backing track or the beat. So to find that out, I'm just going to cut that little beginning because it's just silence. So fully zoomed out, you can see the peaks in the instrumental and we're going to make sure those are lined up nicely with the grid in the project. So you can see all these peaks are now lined up just because I changed the BPM. So the BPM for this is 152. That's just the easy way to find the BPM to any beat. So let's see if that's correct and turn on the metronome and play it alongside the beat. So we can hear that's correct, that's on beat. So to start recording, we're gonna set up our input channels. In this new version of FL Studio, it's a little bit different than in the older version. If you wanna see how to do it in the older version, check out our other video on this. We've gone over how to set up the recording and recording effects channels, but for this new version of FL Studio, you see this plus sign right here, hit right click, it opens an insert. We're gonna link it to external input only. We need to select an input. So we're gonna select input 1 because we've plugged our cable into input 1. And now you hear me, now you see me coming through insert 2 right there, insert 2. And we've got input 1 on the Focusrite, as you see right here. So because this is set to recording external input only, we can put effects on this channel and the effects won't be printed onto the dry recording. The recording will be dry without effects, so we can still adjust later, but we can just put effects on this channel right here and record in the same channel that we put our effects on. So for recording, I like to use a little bit of compression. Over here you can see the value change. So I'm setting it to about 3.5-ish. And I'm setting this one, the threshold, to around the middle of the signal, just to compress it a little bit. It just makes it sound a little bit more bearable when playing it back while I'm recording. So for tuning, I like to use Waves Tune Real Time. It's a very good low latency plugin. So I'm using the mono version because we're recording in mono. We see a couple different settings right here. This one is just the speed of the auto tune, so the speed of the retuning. And this is the speed of the note transitions. Like this is turned up all the way, but we still have to select the key that we want to correct in. So the key of the beat. So this beat is in D minor. If you want to find out the key of your beat, you can use a software called Key Finder. The link will be in the description. So the way Key Finder works is really easy. There we go, we got Key Finder right here. We select the instrumental, we drag and drop it into Key Finder, hit Run Batch, and it tells us it's D minor. So now everything's ready to record. We can just hit record, select audio into the playlist as an audio clip. And the FL Studio will start recording. You can see the recording popping up right here in the audio clip. So you can lay down your takes. When you're done, you can just hit spacebar, hit spacebar again. It'll record another take and it will hide it under the next one. So when we're done recording, you can uncheck this and FL Studio will automatically disable this channel because we've selected monitor external input when armed. So now it's not armed. We won't have any feedback through the mic, so you can turn up your speakers again. So right now the clips are muted. So if we select this one right here, the mute tool, you could just click it and it'll unmute them, or click it and it'll mute them. So the next step is vocal comping or vocal composing, whatever. So if you hit this slice tool right here, if you hit the left click, it'll slice it. What we want to do is slice up this vocal to take out any breaths, take out any unwanted noises in the background, and just to correct the timing. So if we hit shift and we hit left click, it'll slice it over there. But if we hit shift and we hit right click, it'll shorten that clip to the length you specified. So like this. So this is a really quick way that you can go through these takes. So you can just like hit this, delete this, hit this, there you go. Right now I'm just talking over this, but you can see a peak right here. Over here I'm talking pretty much on beat, right? So you make sure you want to drag your vocals on beat. So you can just cut up these words. For example, if this word is just a bit off, you can just drag it like this. If you double click your vocal, pops up this window right here. You want to hit the bleed. The bleed is just a little fade out that makes sure that there's no pops or noises left at the end of your recording, because when you cut and you don't have the bleed, you'll always have a little pop at the end or a little unwanted noise. So that's how you record. So you lay down your takes. I'm just gonna skip this ahead because I've already recorded this song in my own studio. So I'm gonna pull up the vocal and we're gonna get into mixing. All right, so I got the vocal right here. I'm gonna connect it to a new channel, channel 3. So this is gonna be my mixing channel for the main vocal. So first things first, this is what it sounds like dry.
This that big energy, they pay me like there's 10 of me. The envious turn enemy, they not what they pretend to be. They starting shit, tried ending me.
Alright, so I got the EQ. Last time when we did this tutorial, I made a hard cut around 80 Hertz. Because I made that tutorial, a lot of people watched it and gave input and tips. So this one's gonna be even better because I've heard that cutting that hard can create resonance. Honestly, I don't hear it and I don't notice it if it's there, but I believe it. So if it's better, then I'm just gonna make a softer cut right here and not the hard cut that I used to do. So not like this, but a softer cut. I'm just gonna scroll down on this point and it'll soften it up around 80 Hertz. You can do this in any EQ. I just prefer this fab filter EQ. Then I'm gonna grab a fruity limiter and make it serve as a compressor by pressing the compressor button. Again, the ratio, I'm gonna drag it to about 3.5-ish.
This that big energy, they pay me like there's 10 of me. The envious turn enemy, they not what they pretend to be. They starting shit, tried ending me, but they get the short.
Grab this, put it around the middle of the signal. Then I'm gonna increase the threshold. This is just gonna remove unwanted noises that I got in the recording. So you see these little gaps right here where it's silent. Let me make this bigger so you can see.
This that big energy, they pay me like this 10
so
of
when
me.
I drag
the
this
envious
up,
turn enemy, they not what they pretend to be.
This is a threshold for the noise gate. So right now you can see the orange moving. So if I put it right there and I drag this down, you can see the gain going right there. In the top left corner, you see the gain moving. Put it at around minus 15 dB.
This that big energy, they pay me like this 10 of me. The envious turn enemy, they not what they.
So this will make sure that those silences are being silenced by minus 15 dB with a release time of 50 milliseconds, which is right here. So you can adjust it to match the noise in your recording because there's always going to be some of it. Grab another EQ, make another low cut, make it softer because I don't want to have resonance. Next, I'm making a high shelf, put it around 4.5K, increase by 5. It's just what I like on my voice, but it typically works as a starting point for other vocals, and I can just work from here. I want the slope to be a little steeper, so I'm gonna select 24. I'm gonna put it around here. Next,
this that big energy, they pay me like this.
I want to remove the boominess from the voice.
They not what they pretend
so you can see around here,
shit, tried ending me, but they get the short end with me. That's if y'all pulling sticks, man, be mindful when you send for me.
I'm just gonna put
this that big energy, they pay me like this 10 of me.
Right
the
here.
Envious turn enemy, they not what they pretend to be. They starting shit, tried ending me, but
wider.
they get the short end with me. That's if y'all pulling sticks, man, be mindful when you send for me. So insensitive, at least.
There's still a lot of lows in this vocal, so I'm gonna cut about -6. That's a pretty aggressive cut, but I like it on my voice.
This that big energy, they pay me like
Put
this 10 of
here.
me. The envious turn enemy, they not what they pretend to be. They starting shit, tried ending me, but they get the short end with me. That's if y'all pulling sticks, man, be mindful when you send for me. So insensitive,
yeah,
at least
I'm putting this around here.
With my dog and he.
All right, so now you hear these S's in my vocal. They're very prominent.
They not what they pretend to be. They starting shit, tried.
They're very aggressive, a lot of S's. So we're gonna de-ess. I'm grabbing the Fab Filter Pro de-ess for this. I like to just use this preset single vocal male split band. Turn it up all the way.
They not what they pretend to be. They starting shit, tried ending me, but they get the short end with me. That's if y'all pulling sticks, man, be mindful.
What this does is it's just taking out the S's split band. This means exactly what it says right there. When I just hover over it, it gives me the full explanation. I'm gonna grab another single de-ess and I'm putting this second one. I'm grabbing the split band again, but I'm putting this second one on the lower part of my vocal. So around this, and I'm bringing it back to about 4.5K. So now we've cleaned up this vocal. So next up, we're gonna do tuning. We don't need to tune a vocal that's not clean, and we don't need to add effects on a vocal that's not clean. That's why we do cleaning first, then we do tuning, and then we do effects. So next up, effects. So I'm bringing back the Waves auto tune.
They not what they pretend to be. They starting shit, tried ending me, but they get the short end with me. That's if y'all pulling sticks, man. Be mindful when you send for me. So insensitive, at least that's what I tend to be. With my dog, and he walking with a stick, but he ain't limping. Classy man, one wifey on the pedestal, no simping. Would've had to sit down, I'ma stand up, try blend in. If you was a stand up, then you
wouldn't like it that much. I just want a little.
We could reach an understanding.
Now I'm gonna widen up this signal So I'm gonna use this vocal doubler by iZotope. It's a free plugin. I'm putting the separation at 100%, variation at about 60 because I don't want it to phase, because what this does is this copies the signal, puts one to the right, one to the left. By adding the variation, it's just gonna create minor pitch shifts in either one of those, the left one or the right one, which makes sure that they don't phase each other out. And I only want about 20% of this effect on the main vocal, and it's just gonna sit better with the beat and sit better in the mix. Next up, I'm pulling up, oh my God, these plugins. I'm pulling up Valhalla Vintage Verb. I'm cutting all the lows. I'm cutting the highs to around 3K, same as before, same as in the other video. I put the size to about 50. I'm putting this up a little. This is just a pre-delay, so the reverb kicks in after 38 milliseconds, just because it sounds better, in my opinion. I'm just gonna put a tiny amount, just to add a texture to this vocal, because in the other video I did a track where I wanted the reverb on the vocal to be very drowned out, but now I want the reverb to be very tight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a reverb send. So I'm gonna copy this signal to another insert just by right-clicking the insert down here and say route to this track while I have the vocal selected. So this route to this track, now it's copied. See now this one is playing in both inserts. This is my reverb set. I'm gonna put a reverb on this. I'm gonna leave this at 100%. I'm gonna do the same as with the other reverb. Maybe leave this size a little bit bigger. But I leave this mix at 100%. So this is only the reverb mix. So we don't have any dry signal running through this anymore because it's at 100%. So now when we lower this, we basically have a mix knob for the reverb. See, it works the same way. This is our dry signal, this is our reverb signal. But we only want this reverb playing after the main vocal is done, or in the gaps when the main vocal is not playing. So in between words and shit. So I'm gonna grab a limiter. I'm gonna hit compression mode. I'm gonna sidechain. I'm gonna hit right click vocal. I'm gonna drag the ratio up to about 10 real quick. So now we got our signal. And this threshold is gonna determine when we sidechain the reverb to the vocal. So as you can hear, when I lower this threshold, it pushes away that vocal. So you can see it as well. With the purple is the vocal pushing away the reverb. You hear that in the gaps right there? It's coming up. So next up is doubles. I could just copy this one because we basically want to clean the doubles up the same way. So now this one is going to be for doubles. I already got my doubles recorded, drag them in, put them at channel 7. But I want the doubles to be wider since that's a cool effect, I think. Pretty basic stuff. It's the same as we did last video, other than the reverb send, more or less the same mixing template. But what's different this time is that I also got a whisper layer. There's this beat switch in the song, and at the end, I have this whisper part. So you get the point. So I'm gonna show you how I mix this whisper part. So I basically went about it the same way that I mixed this main vocal. So I got this whisper. I don't have to be as aggressive on these low cuts. I'm gonna make this a little wider than the main vocal. So I also got an Adlib layer. I recorded an Adlib layer as well. Select this. If I hit Command L, it will actually assign a free channel. All right, so I'm gonna copy this one, which was basically the same as the main vocal mixing channel. I'm gonna copy that again to the Adlibs because it's just our starting point. It's where we recorded the song with, where we cleaned up our vocal with. But this is our Adlibs channel.
I can take your word with that weak shit you sent in. Don't flex on me, bro. I hit you with the truth. You go for free where I go just for the loot.
So I actually cut a little of these highs on the...
I can take your word with that
I don't have to
shit you
cut
sent
lows
me.
as much.
Don't flex on me.
So the final step is balancing the mix, but that's basically what I've been doing throughout mixing this. You know, just go over it again, listen to it a couple times, think about what should be louder, what should be softer, just in terms of volume, you know, just the final touches. So you just play around with it to reach a final result. And this is just like a quick mastering that I use. I use the glue plugin. So these are the settings I use. So I just adjust the threshold until it hits around -5, and then I just keep everything else the same for this first compressor. Then we grab the fruity limiter or any other kind of limiter, and we make sure that the ceiling is around the top of the signal there. So that way it's just catching the peaks, you see. So for this second glue compressor, these are the settings I use. And I also make sure that this one hits around 5 dB. Next up, I'm grabbing the Ozone plugin, which is a super easy mastering plugin. So it's very good if you just want to quickly bounce something and check it out on the whip. So I'm putting in an imager, putting this around 100, but I want everything below that to be in mono because it's bass. I'm gonna turn off this maximizer for now, because we don't need it yet. And I'm just reducing these middle frequencies a little, increasing this a little. This is just the stereo imaging, so reducing the stereo imaging will make it more mono. Increasing this right here will make it more stereo and more wider. If your low end is not in mono, this could cause problems with big bass systems. So you really want it to be in mono, at least this bottom half. All right, so next up, I'm grabbing this maximizer. This is just to increase the volume. So I'm gonna select this right here, select type, select integrated. So that will show me the LUFS, and the LUFS is just a metric for measuring loudness. So now I hit play. Got a little loud here, so I'm turning down my headphones. So as I'm increasing the threshold here, would have had to sit down, I'ma stand up, try blend in. If you was a stand up, then you wouldn't pretend to be. They starting shit, tried ending me, but they get the short end with me. That's if y'all pulling sticks, man. Be mindful when you send for me. As I'm lowering the threshold there, the LUFS is increasing. So I want it to be at around -10 to -8. That's personal preference. There's some Travis Scott songs that's -4 or -5, I think. So they get real loud. Typically streaming services ask for -14, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. So when it starts distorting, there's only one way to fix that. You go back into your mix and you make sure there's more space for you to increase the volume. This means you make certain elements less loud. You cut away thick and bass, or anything that's in the way of getting you that loudness. So anything that's being distorted or pushed away, you want that pushed away here so that it doesn't distort when you're mastering it. So yeah, guys, that's about it. Okay, to export the song, we're just gonna hit File, Export, MP3 or WAV. So honestly, just for riding around and checking that out, I just use the MP3 because a human can't hear the difference between a high quality MP3 and a WAV file. Yes, WAV file is better for when you upload it to streaming services, etc., etc. But when it just comes to listening purposes, for checking it out at various places, you really don't need a WAV file. It's just not useful because you're always waiting for it to load because it's way bigger. You're always waiting for it to send to people when they ask you, oh, can you send me that song real quick? MP3 is just more practical in this environment, so I always use MP3. No, you can hear the difference between a high quality MP3 and a WAV file. So when you hit export, it asks you where to send it. I'm just gonna save it here. So you get this screen right here. So we have MP3, stereo, drag the bitrate all the way up, because when you put it there, yeah, you will hear the difference between a WAV file and an MP3, but not when you put it over there, man. It's just, there's no way. Quality, select the highest one, HQ for all plugins. We don't want to split the mixer tracks, so we're gonna undo that one. Enable insert, enable masters, that should all be fired up, and we just hit export. Now we got a quick little master of our song. We could just ride around to it, listen to it, check it out in the car, check it out on your headphones, check it out on your laptop speakers, check it out on your homie studio speakers, check it, you get the point. Check it out everywhere and make minor adjustments, make notes, go back in, make minor adjustments, check it out again. You know, I highly recommend just downloading like a Google Drive app and loading all your songs in there when you're done with them. So you can just ride around with your songs because you can access them right from your phone. It's a very easy method to just always have your tracks on you. So yeah, thank you, Seven. Shout out to Seven for having me. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. If there's any questions, make sure to ask them in the comments. I'm trying to respond to every single one. I'm sure that there's some stuff that I forgot to mention. Also, if you have tips to improve this mix, drop them in the comments as well, so we can make an improved version. So the song we mixed today is called Big Energy. It's my new single, so go check that out. Big Energy by Bobby G. The link will be in the description. And shout out to Seven for having me on again, and thank you for watching.
And that's it for this tutorial on how to record and mix vocals. Remember, the key to achieving a professional sounding vocal is all in the preparation. Choose the right microphone, position it correctly, monitor the levels, and add effects to enhance your vocals sound. So I hope with these tips and techniques you will be able to reach your desired results. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks again so much for watching. A big thanks to Bobby G for participating in this video. Make sure to download the free vocal chain, the link will be in the description. And also go and check out Bobby G's new song. The link will also be in the description. So with all this being said, thank you so much for watching again, and I hope you create some awesome songs. See you.